Hello viewers, in this video I'm going to be showing you how to make ojojo. Ojojo is something the Yoruba people eat in Nigeria. It's also called yam fritters. To make ojojo, we are going to be using Wateryam called Ishobura. We're also going to be using some scotch bonnet because I want it a bit spicy. I'm also going to be using onion. I've got sea salt there that I'm going to be using. There's this all-purpose seasoning there that we're going to be using as well. I've got this grater that we're going to be using. Make sure you use the tiny part of the grater, so we're going to be using this side. Don't use this side or this other side. Make sure you use this side. I'm going to be showing you that shortly. And I've got my board there. Of course, you need some oil and some palm. Make sure that when you put your oil, you're not putting it on high heat because you want your ojojo to fry properly, or else it's going to burn and it's not going to cook well done inside. You don't want that for any of your ojojo, akara, puff, anything you want to do. Make sure you set it in medium heat to make sure that it doesn't go it doesn't burn and it's cooked properly. Right, when peeling your yam, it is important to make sure that you don't rinse the yam in water. So what we're going to do now is that we're going to peel the yam, and as you can see, as I'm peeling that, I'm going to be putting it here. Now, what we were not going to do, because it's water yam, you see, you don't want to raise it in water. The yams in Nigeria they're quite fertile, and you can actually rinse it and fry it. It's still going to give you a very good result. But based on based on my research in the kitchen and couple of trials that I've done, I realized that when you wash the yam in water, of course the yams we buy here, the water yams we buy here, what I realized is the water yams we buy here, when you wash them in water, they become a bit watery when you kind of grate your yam, and it's not going to be kind of useful. It's going to kind of disperse in the oil. So what I would advise you to do is that firstly you have to peel the yam. When you peel it, rather than washing it in water or rinsing your peeled yam in water, please don't do that. Most especially if you are living in the Western world. The kind of yam we buy here, I don't know, probably is the fertilizer or the kind of the water yam, but to get a very good result, what you need to do is to use a white kitchen disposable tissue to just damp the tissue and just clean your yam. What you want to do is to get a tissue like this, damp it in water, okay, and just clean it nicely. All right, just give it a good clean. Okay, so this is the second batch of cleaning I'm doing. Then the third batch is just to dry the yam before I then grate it. I'm then going to show you when I'm grating it. Okay, so just give it a good clean. All right, it's very important. You don't have to do this if you are in Nigeria or any African country, because I think the Puna yam there, I said the water yam there is very strong, and I think it's but the ones we have here, this is based on what I found out. It is based on what I found out, and I'm just trying to show you how to get the best result out of it. Right, it's important you pat your yam dry, as I mentioned to you earlier. So I'm just going to pat it dry one more time before I start grating the yam. So I'm just going to pat the yam one more time. Remember, you want to get as much moist out of the yam, and anything you're doing, either the utensil or your crate, make sure it's very dry, because you want to kind of reduce the amount of water content or moisture around your environment when you're using this particular water yam. If you want to grate the yam, don't use this side of the grater. Don't use this side of the grater, and don't use this side of the grater. Use the very tiny side of the grater, and that's the part we're going to be using. So you have to hold it firmly. It can be very slippery, okay, and you just grate. All right, and that is exactly what we have to be doing, and that's exactly what we are doing here. We want to kind of grate it really nicely. All right, and then we're then going to add our onions, and we're then going to add your seasoning. You don't have to use too much onion, to be honest, just a little bit of onion, but because I like onions a lot, so I'm gonna add a lot of onion into it. But I mean, you can use only one, you don't have to use two that I've used in this video. And one Scotch bonnet is okay, to be honest. Be careful with your hands. And again, if you have the grater, which is it comes to your food processor, one of the settings there, if you have one of the settings, you can use that one basically. Right, as you can see, it's been blended now, so I'm just going to add a bit of my seasoning to it. So I'm just going to add a tiny bit of salt. As you can see, like half a teaspoon of salt, not a tablespoon, like half a teaspoon of salt, just a bit of that. And you're also going to add a tiny little bit of your seasoning. You can add more to it later if you want to, just a little bit of that as well. So you take that aside, and of course I'm then going to add my Scotch bonnet and onion. Just add a little bit of that as well to it. So mix everything together. Right, as you can see, it's ready now. So I'm just going to turn the yam fritters. You can see that the oil is not too hot, so I'm just going to take this out. Just place them gently there. Take another one. So this is the Ojojo ready now. If you're lucky to find cold Eko with this, I'm sure you're gonna like it. That's how they eat it in Ibadan. Again, just make sure that you don't wash the yam in water, because that's why it's called water yam. If you do that, then your water yam is gonna absorb more water, and when you grate it, then it's not gonna give you the shape and size. It's just gonna mess you up and just scatter in your oil. The most important information is that if you're living in America or London or Germany or Canada, outside Nigeria, the kind of water yam we have here, you don't wash it with water. It's not a typical yam. It's not like a typical yam that when you peel the skin, you put it in water. Please don't. Just use a white tissue to just clean the back of the yam after you've peeled it. Okay, very important you keep that information before you grate it, or else you're gonna be messaging me and sending comments to me to say, oh, it didn't come out well, caller, please help me, it didn't come out well. Just follow my instruction in this video and you're gonna get perfect results of yam fritters. And if you're lucky to get Eko, enjoy it with Eko. You know, Eko ile way to da if you Ojojo ke lube ati lo pele Eko. You know, everybody are doing complete mission here o, e pari mission here o, you go mama do láǹfààní téèyàn wà nílùú òyìnbó téèyàn bá lè jẹun gidi. Ojojo nìyẹn o, ẹ máa gbádùn lọ. Over.